Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, I never know what date it is. What date is it? The 18th of March. Yes, just check the calendar. Hope you're all well. I've had a bit of a mishap today, actually. About 20 minutes after I sent the post with that cute little bunny who has gone off to a new home, but I will be making more for anybody who's interested. About 20 minutes after that, I was rinsing out a new tea thermos flask, as you do, and managed to slice my left thumb open. Right now, you can't see it, but it's under a bandage, and it sort of goes from left to right. It's quite deep. It bled quite impressively, actually. Kept going for about like 15-20 minutes, but thankfully it stopped, and it's not too sore, but obviously I'm wearing a bandage, so it will interfere with my ability to work too much, but I'll do my best. So bear with me, and apologies again. I've got the slow connection message coming up on my phone, but I'll do my best. Anyway, lovely to see you all here, and I hope that you're well and enjoying what seems to be spring. Hopefully it is. Anyway, today I thought, subject to thumb issues, I also got my, there's a cut there and a cut there. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that I did it. Anyway, not to worry, I'm sure I'll be back to normal in a couple of days. But I smooth the clay a lot with my thumbs. So with having a bandage on my thumb and with a big gaping cut in it, I'll see how I get on. Anyway, so today's a bit different, actually. I know, yikes, precise. Oh, I can see your message, yay. Excellent. Hello, Christy, lovely to see you. Hi, I hope it's okay over there. So we'll see how it goes today. I'll do my best. As I say, I'm not worried about it. I've got aloe vera slathered all over it. I put lots of pressure, ran it under the cold tap, but it was just one of those, like, when you look at it and you think, really, have I just done that? Oh, what a pain in the neck. Well, pain in the thumb, really. However, yeah, Christy, I can actually see. Your thing was that you forgot the US has changed their time. So you've gone forward an hour and we haven't yet, because it's spring forward, fall back, isn't it? So, oh, right, okay, so you're what? If you've gone forward already, you're an hour less behind, so it's 1 o'clock your time, I think, maybe? I can't do the maths just now. Anyway, lovely to have you on the call. What I'm going to be doing today, actually, I'm finishing off. Yeah, we're coming part into a project that I've started. I've been experimenting with a slightly new millefiori technique for cat markings, as you do. So this is going to look a bit odd, but this is what I'm working on at the moment. It's tabby cats. So I've been working out a way to create the sort of stripy effect. Now, obviously, this cat still has to have tummy markings, still have to have chops, ears, all the rest of it. But this is I'm really quite interested, quite excited about this particular technique. It's a new one to me. I love polymer clay. It always amazes me. It's wonderful stuff. It's just amazing. Anyway, so it actually, you'll have seen the mole effects that I do. So it's a variation on the mole effect, the mole fur cane effect, but it actually works better because there's 4 that I've prepared, and I'm going to put their tummies on them and all the rest of it, finish them off. And if I have time after doing that, then I'm going to start a new cane and see whether I can do a ginger tabby cat as well. So yeah, so you're coming in sort of part way through a little mini assembly line. Hopefully you can see everything all right. Is the volume okay? I will proceed on the basis that it is, unless I hear to the contrary. I will do my best to see. I think it's closer than it usually is. I think, let me just put the camera up just a little bit. Oh dear, there we go. Sorry about that. Right, that's fine. Excellent. Right, so the stage that we're at with the little cats. And I can see, Rachel's here as well. Hello, Rachel. Oh, well, I'm glad that you found me after Facebook hid you. So lovely to have, it's always a pleasure to have you here and to be able to chat and it's just lovely. It really makes such a difference because I don't get to speak to many people through the day, particularly not when I'm sort of mutilating myself with cuts. Anyway, what I'm going to do at the moment, I have actually cut out the cheeks, the chops for the mice. Gosh, Listen to me. I haven't made mice for a while, actually. That's because I was spending all last week doing those tiny little stitch markers and earrings. I did enjoy doing them, but it's quite nice to get back to 3 dimensions again, I must say. Right, so I have cut out some tiny little chops and I'm putting them onto their mouths and shaping them. So I shall do the 4 of these. So yeah, so it's not a project from beginning to end. I'm coming into it, going into it halfway through. I hope you don't mind. But you'll be able to see the cats hopefully once I've finished them. And yes, and it introduces the new possibility for doing brindle coloured, markings and the tabby markings, etc. It's making use of both. It's a combination of the fur cane effect that I have, but then stopping at an earlier point and then using the stretching abilities of my pasta machine, which actually helps stretch out the markings so they actually look more like proper markings. It's just, I love polymer clay. I know I keep saying this, but I really do. After, gosh, it's nearly 16 years since Quernus started, which again, I can't believe, but anyway, apparently it's 16 years. So I'm still constantly amazed by what it can do. So I guess I'm doing the right thing for now. I'm now making up tiny little noses. I would normally roll this out, but this is the trouble. I roll this out on my thumb, and my thumb is now covered in fabric plaster, which is a bit of a pain, but I'll do my best. Apologies that I'm a little bit wounded as a result. Anyway, just taking off a little bit of pink clay, because I love tabby cats when they have little pink noses. They're so cute. And then I'm just putting that in between the cheek clef, if that's the right term, and making sure that it goes as close to the back of the cheeks as possible. Flob alert already, of course. Just to make sure that the cheeks are nice and bright. So yes, I don't always make cats with cheeks, stuck on cheeks. In fact, I was making cats on Saturday that were properly shaped cats. I haven't even got pictures of them on my Flickr page, but I will get to them at some point. And it was actually making those cats that I discovered this technique, or the variation of the technique, which means that I can actually do proper tabby cat markings. Because I with some tabby cats I've just added the stripes on individually, but that's not ideal either. I mean, it kind of works from a stylized point of view, but it's not ideal. It's better to have. I like the effect better that this clay gives. So we'll see how it goes anyway. Right. So yes, please do add comments and tell me how you've been and how you're getting on, because I'll catch up with them all after the brew and the blether. It seems that Mr. Facebook has let me see some of them, but not all of them, and it may just sort of stop at various points. And anyway, blah. That totally blethering. Enrique had suggested, because I sent him a message and said, I've injured my thumb. And he was like, you're just going to do a proper blether then? And I was like, no, I kind of wanted to see whether I can make a wee creature or two. So here I am, complete with bandages, and here's hoping. We shall do our best. Right. Okay, so there are 4 little chops that are made, and I will now make this is how I make the fatty. These are fatty cats. If anybody has not come across my fatty cats before, they're just round dollops. And cats are so much easier to make. I'm just going to roll out the white for the bibs first of all. But fatty cats generally are easier to make from a stylized point of view than dogs. And I know I do keep getting asked if I will make dogs, and I have made them in the past. And I would like to make them at some point in the future as well, but they've just never really had their moment. All the wee creatures do seem to have their moments in time, but these ones have not quite, dogs have not quite made it yet. But I do believe that they will one of these days. It's just that dogs can't really be they they're so individual and they're so wonderful and so unique. It's quite hard to make the stylized version of them, but you know, maybe I don't have to do that. Right, I'm just measuring out to see what's going to be the best. That's too big, I think. Let's see. This is actually the cutter that I use for the Highland cows, if you're interested. Yes, that's a better one. So I'm going to give them a white tummy, but I'm also going to give them white cheeks, you know, like around their eyes as well, because I think that's how a lot of tabby cats have white faces around their cheeks. So let's just move that out of the way for now. And I'm going to stretch this. It's okay as long as I can keep to that part of my thumb so that I'm not getting the imprint of fabric, the fabric plaster on the clay. That's okay. But it's made me realise how reliant I am on my thumbs. And you can actually get, I do have like critical illness cover. So if I'm ever unable to work, I've had this since the beginning. I've never claimed on it. I've always been able to sort of keep going. But if I'm unable to work for any reason, then you know this insurance will hopefully pay out. And actually, if anything does happen to my thumbs, etc., or fingers or hands or the sort of critical tools of the trade, that's what I have to do. So yeah, it's really quite. It's more of a worry than. Well, it's not really a worry. Honestly, I don't really worry about things like that, but it is a consideration. So if I fell over and like fractured my wrist or did something horrible like that, I'd be kind of stuck. I really would be kind of stuck. Anyway, so hasn't happened. Just a little making a cup of tea as well. I was this new tea thermos. It's actually really good. You know, injuries notwithstanding. But it's a thermos flask with a tea strainer in the inside, so you can make tea and it keeps it warm. It's fabulous. It's really good. Anyway, we've got the tummy there and the chops are going to be there. You see? And obviously I'll put some eyes in as well. So it's going to be sort of a halfway house between kind of stylized, but with the actual markings that you normally get with tabbies. Right, so I'll just do that for the other four. And let's see. It's been such a lovely day today, actually. Spring is definitely springing, but I don't know whether have you seen the meme which says there are actually 11 seasons in the year? I must post it in the group because it's brilliant. It makes me laugh so much. You know, there's like sort of about 5 seasons in spring, and we might be in fool's spring at the moment in the UK, where we think it's spring, but it's not really. It's about to snow next week or something. They do say, the saying is March is in like a lion, out like a lamb, but so far it's been the other way around. So I'm kind of hoping that we don't get a nasty spring in the tail, sting in the tail by the end of the month, and that we slip slide. The blossoms out in the trees is just wonderful. I love it. I absolutely love this time of year. It is my favourite time. Right, let's just make sure that that's well embedded on as well. I wonder whether he needs more of a white face. I think actually, because he's got quite a haircut. You see how I've got. I've cut a slice of the cane, and it's got a bit of a haircut there. So I could either just give him a white face as well, and then you know his eyes and chops would be sitting on top of that, or he's just like that. I'm not quite sure. Not sure which way it should be. I might try one or two because I've got 4 here, so I might try different ones with different styles and see what happens. This is very much how I work when I'm trying out new ideas. You know, I usually keep so much scrap clay lying around on my workbench, probably far too much, but it gives me ideas, and it means that I've got to hand clay if I want to try something out and see what's going on. So yeah, it's always fun to try different finishes, different styles, different poses. But I'm always sort of keeping half an eye on. so that they've got sort of consistency between them all. If that makes sense. They're all a family. All, you know, like these ones which I'm making together are all a family of wee cats, wee fatty cats, but they're all slightly different. And you can see I've got sort of a bit of a black mark on this one. So yes, I'm in two minds. I think I might have to give them a little bit more of a. See, this one, oh, sorry, I'm just interrupting myself here. This one I have carried on the millefiori cane over to the front, which once he's got his tummy on, then he's going to have black markings all the way down. But that's not really what tabby cats are like. And then equally, I'm not going for a completely realistic tabby cat. So, oh, good. You know, the trials and tribulations of being a polymer clay artist. Who thought that life could be so complicated? Anyway, oh goodness, right. So let's just stretch out his tummy a little bit. So this started off as a round, as a circle, and I'm just lightly pulling out into an oval shape. I think I've probably got oval. I do have, obviously I've got oval cutters that could do the job, but it's more of an egg shape that I want for his tummy rather than a pure oval or a pure shape. So it's not often that I actually stick with the actual shape of whatever I've cut out. Anyway, right, so that's good. So let's put the tummy on this little cat. There we go. And I'm going to just roll that in place and make sure it's straightened out. Right, okay, so as far as giving him maybe more of a white face which comes up to his fringe. It really looks like a fringe, doesn't it? Let's see what's going to be the best shape or the best. Oh no, gosh, the amount of times that I drop these things and then I can't find them again, or it's under the table. Sorry, I'm having to. Oh no, it's all falling apart. Right, I'm gonna have to go looking for that later. Right, that's me moving the. Gosh, that's me moving the light to try and see what's going on. Sorry about that. Right, okay, I have dropped one of my favourite cutters, but I think I saw where it went, so I'll pick that up later. And that was the one I was going to use. Oh well. So I now have to use a different size of cutter for this. Do I have one that would work? Actually, that might work. That's slightly bigger. Excuse me, slightly bigger than what I was using before. And actually, that's a better size. So there's a reason why my cutter, my smaller cutter, which actually is mouse ear cutter, so it's kind of vital that I get that back. But I can't really just dive under the. You imagine just diving under the workbench just now and leaving you all hanging on while I retrieve my little my little cutter. Oh well. I'm amazed actually. I've had most of these cutters since like day one, and I've never yet managed to. I don't want to jinx myself, but I've never yet lost them permanently. They have rolled under the table. They have disappeared for moments, but then I've managed to get them back. Right. Okay, so I don't know whether this is going to work. I may look up a tabby cat just to see what the shape is going to be, because I think most of them, correct me if I'm wrong here, and I'm sure you will let me know, often they'll have like a stripe going up into the forehead. So let's just take off a little bit on the side. So that just to make it more of a, I don't know what shape that is, but it's more sort of cat shape than just a round dollop in the middle, isn't it? Let's get the right clay shaper, bring that in, squish it out a little bit. So I'm just flattening it so that it's kind of more equidistant, and because this little cat here, he's got, his tummy goes up there. So I need to make sure that his tummy is connected to his chin and cheek. So I'm just going to chop out the bottom of his facial markings. And that should, fingers crossed, that should sit quite nicely as a facial marking for him. So you see what I'm doing? So he's got his side bits, because cats do have those sort of stripes which go around the side. And then I can blend that in. Actually looks more cat-like, I think. There's obviously going to be a little bit of a gap, well, a line there between the join, but that'll be okay. Yeah, I think this will work. This will work better. And then his chops are going to go there. So you can see obviously where his eyes are going to go. But before I put the eyes in, I'm going to mark them first of all. And already he's starting to come alive. I love it. I love it. I love when I see them just sort of starting to wake up. You know, it's like Bagpuss. If you're Bagpuss fans, if you're children of the 70s, then you will know Bagpuss, the old saggy cloth cat in the Bagpuss, Sagpuss, old saggy. Oh gosh, I'll need to look it up now. I can hear the tune for it. It was a wonderful children's television program, and if anybody's not aware of it, do look it out, because it's just lovely. It's so nice. And that's where, I'm sure I've said this before, but they had it was an old like a curiosity shop, and they had Bagpuss, like a little saggy cloth kit cat, and there was Madeline the rag doll, and there was Professor Yaffle, the carved wooden bookend in the shape of a woodpecker, and the mice on the mouse organ, which I think was absolutely instrumental and completely behind where I am now and what I'm doing with the creatures. I love the mice on the mouse organ. So, I'm going to have to share some of that with you as well. They're just so cute. They really are. They've got this wonderful little cleaning song that they do. They tidy up and clean up all these items in the curiosity shops, and stories are told about them. It's just lovely. They don't make children's programs like they used to. It's a shame, because they were just magical. They were absolutely magical. Right, I'm just pressing out the ears now, as you probably gathered. The one thing I will do is put some inner ear markings onto them. So I think I'm going to use, what am I going to use? I'm going to use, this is pigling clay. This is what I used for the tiny little pigling stitch markers. I think there's even 2 left in the shop, actually. They're so cute because they've got little curly piggly tails. Anyway, I'm going to just roll this out straight. So that's on the thinnest setting of the pasta machine. And this is, you can still see okay, can't you? Yeah. I do sometimes forget to check in and just see where I am with it. Right, and then I'm just going to cut out 8 inner ear triangles. 5, 6, 7, 8. Move that out of the way. And then because it's too wide as it is to fit inside, I then take a small sliver off the side, and that just makes it just the right size. And by using my tissue blade, that separates out the inner ear. And then I can just put inner ear in there. So I'll do that for all of them. There we go. There's 2. And I've tried to I've made the ears out of some of the scrap clay from the leftovers from the millefiori cane. Actually, I should show you this. This is a slice of what I rolled out from a very, a thicker slice. And because I rolled it out that way through the pasta machine, it actually stretches out the stripes into a more natural shape instead of just making them thinner. It all depends on which angle you put it through the pasta machine. It's magic. It's just magic. Anyway, so I created the ears just by mushing together some of the scraps from the millefiori cane, and then putting it through, I think, the number 2 setting on the pasta machine, so that it's more blended, because the cat ears aren't stripy. I don't know whether you've ever noticed this, if you've got cats of your own, or if you've ever made a close study of cat ears. But because I was making cats for this commission over the weekend, I spent quite a long time looking at these, the markings, and they've got all these stripes going down their forehead and down the back of their neck and down their back and all the rest of it. But their ears are actually relatively unmarked. Who knew? Who knew? So I love it. I mean, it's a great opportunity to actually study different animals and see what see what the most obvious aspect of them it is. So what the most obvious part of them. What's the caricature aspect that makes you think, that's a tabby cat, or that's a frog, or that's a pig, or whatever. And that's what I always try and capture when I'm making the creatures. It's what's the thing that makes a koala bear look like a koala bear? What makes a panda a panda? And some of them can be very subtle. It took me a long time to work out guinea pigs, for example. A long time. I mean, really, it was like 3 or 4 years or something before guinea pigs became a thing. Because they're actually just sausages with legs, as I'm sure those of you who have guinea pigs know. They're not very, they don't have much of a shape, but the shape that they do have is very clearly a guinea pig. It's just yeah. So once you've got that, once you've kind of got that shape, it works. And it's the same with cats to an extent. I mean, as I'm kind of shaping this, I'm kind of bringing out the bum a little bit, keeping the front shape, keeping the front flat, but sideways, I'm not sure whether you'll be able to catch that, but it's actually sort of a triangle with a slight, he comes out a little bit at his bum. Anyway, I'm now going to make sure that the ears are going to look okay, or at the right size for this little one here, the one at the end. So I'm doing this at a slight angle so that the ears are kind of going to be perked up. There you go. Yes, because if I cut the ears straight along the bottom, they'd be sticking out like that, and I want them to be a bit more perky and upright. There you go. You see how he's coming together? I mean, it's just magic. Magic. Polymer clay. Just, keep doing it. Right, I'm now going to put some eyes on before I put the chops on for good. But yeah, I mean, I really like the effect of this. He's going to look even better when he has his eyes on. So let's get them sorted out now. And I think that shape, those markings for the face works quite well, actually, because they do have those sort of the side flashes that emanate out from the face. Right. Now, I think these were 6 gram cats. I'm going to use sort of 2.5 mil eyes. I'm in the eye box. I'm not sure whether dear Alison is here, or if I'm hoping that she's still having a lot of fun in New Zealand and hasn't broken off her trip to come and see this. But if she is here, hello, Alison. And if you're listening to it later, hello, Alison. And I hope you're having a fab time. Anyway, eye box. She's always very, very excited by the eye box. So we are here, and I am going to try and get 2, which are pretty close. That's all right. Okay, put them there. And, oh, yeah, this is where it gets a bit tricky with a bandage on, because I'm trying to find the hole now. There we go. Oh, I would usually use more of my thumb pad to do that. Right, there's one in, and the other one. Now, all my fatty cats used to have paws, and I don't really make them with paws anymore. I just have the tail coming round the front, which actually I think it works better from a sort of a design point of view, because the paws kind of just stuck out on the front. You know, they just. So I like having them just with the tail. So you can imagine that the tail is covering the paws, and in my world, that's what's happening. Right, okay, eye box to one side for the time being, and then I shall use my clay shaper to push in the eyes, and I'm just keeping an eye on the time. True to form, all my big plans to finish not only 4 cats, but to make a start on a ginger tom, it has come to naught. I'm really sorry, and I don't want to keep you guys too late tonight either. But at least if I can finish 1 cat, it'll be a good start. Now, I haven't attached these ears yet, so I'm going to do that now with my trusty extender medium, just to give a good join between the ears. And I will bend that a little bit further round. Excellent. No, I like the effect of these ears. It's, you know, it's using the same base colours that the markings have, but it's solid colours. Because I encourage you, if you doubt me, if you wonder, it's like, no, of course cats must have stripy ears. Go look at a cat. Go and find a cat, and go and look at its ears, and it's really quite astonishing. The other thing which is really amazing about cats is that their heads are absolutely tiny compared to the rest of their bodies. And actually, this is one thing. It's very different when you're doing sort of stylized animals. It's not so much of an issue, clearly. But if you're trying to do a realistic sculpture, a lot of people will just make the head an awful lot bigger. And the reason for that, there's actually a scientific reason for that, is because you concentrate much more on the head than you do on the rest of the body. So your brain kind of just thinks, oh, I'm spending all my time focusing here. It must be big. And so we just always assume, it's the same with babies as well. Just anything that you focus on is actually usually much smaller than you think it is. I find that fascinating. Oh, I can see as well, because I have to touch this. I'm going to have to be very careful about this. I've just marked it with all sorts of little fabric bobbles and flob. Anyway, let's just give that a little clean. I'll do my best to keep fingertips only for the cats. Right, and now I can put on his chops, his proper chops. So, and I will do that with some clay, liquid clay, again, just to strengthen the join. And there we go. Make sure that's sort of coming up to the eyes. What a sweetheart. What a sweetheart. And I'm also trying to kind of make sure that everything doesn't look too stuck on. I mean, obviously it is stuck on, but there are ways that you can make it look more integral than it really is. And that's what I aim for. Anyway. And that, you know, you can do that by making sure that it's sort of pressed in, that the brow isn't too far back, and all the rest of it. There's just ways of doing it, which I never realised I'm doing until I'm speaking to you guys and telling you about it. Right, so we have one little tabby fatty cat, and I'm going to just make his tail now. Here are some of the scraps from the cane that I've been using. So what I'll probably do is just create, because I've got 4 tails to make out of this. So I want to make sure that I have enough. I still have what's left. I mean, really, I do go down to the wire with this stuff. I really do go down to the wire. I keep everything I waste nothing. So I'm going to use thin slices from this to cover a little core of the scrap clay, and that'll make it look more stripy than it would otherwise. That is quite sore to press, actually. I suppose it will take a few days before it heals properly. And then I won't be able to have fingerprints taken. That's the only thing, because you know what it's like when you have paper cuts and everything, because, you know, this was quite deep, but there's going to be flaps of skin lying around for a while. And that, you know, that makes it very hard to, what's the word? To smooth anything, because you've got a big flap of skin that gets hard and horrible. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit frustrating for the next, you know, week probably. However, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Right. There was just a little join there, so I'm just pushing this clay together and flattening it a bit again. Now it doesn't need to be very long, so I'm just going to cut that, move that out the way. That'll be for the next one. Cut that, and then just wrap that little core. And although it doesn't go all the way around, that's okay, because you won't see all of his tail. It's not something I normally like to do, but I think given that I am quite short of stripy, you know, like a slice of stripy millefiori cane, I think it's erring on the side of caution is probably the better option. And then I can roll it out a little bit more. That will embed the cane on it, and you can see it's a stripy tail now. I mean, it was kind of stripy before because it was scrap clay, but now it's properly stripy, which is fabulous. Right, okay, and you can see where it doesn't quite join there, but I'll be able to put that round, you know, that'll go into the inside of the cat, so you won't see it. And I love having the tail kind of curling up in front of the tummy. For now, this is how my cats look, and I'm very happy with them. So what I need to do then is just cut at an angle, because that's going to go at the back, and a little bit of extender medium, and then that'll go on the base. It really looks like a tabby cat, doesn't it? This is the other thing which I'm going to experiment with different styles and ways of cutting the actual cane itself, because I actually cut the cane once I'd sort of stacked it all and rolled it through a few times. I cut it, pushed it back together, and that actually created, let's see if there's a good example. This is probably the best one, actually. Because tabby cats, they've got sort of, you know, like a spine down there, and you know, and then the stripes come out at the side, and that worked perfectly. I mean, it really made such a difference. Anyway, right. So there we go. Little tails coming round the front. There we go. And now I'm kind of just pushing him forward a little bit as he's sitting there, because cats are very neat and like to sort of sit up. So there you go. There's my little fatty cat with a millefiori technique that creates all these wonderful stripes. Not a scrap of paint has made that. Actually, yeah, you don't need paint. I love it. I always get asked, you know, oh, do you paint them all? And it's like, no, who has time for that? This is great. So there we go. And I will have to clean his tummy again, because I have obviously touched it with my bandage, my plaster at some point. But that's pretty good. Now to do it with all the other three, and to maybe have a go at doing a ginger Tom cane with the same sort of idea, and make some ginger cats. Let's see how it goes. Right, it's 20 to 9. Goodness me, time flies when you're having fun. Thank you so much for joining me and my wounded thumb and finger. Do you know, actually, I didn't realise that it was injured to begin with, and I was holding a tissue around my thumb and pressing it hard, and I kept seeing blood on this finger, and I thought it was just dripping through from my thumb, but no, there was a little cut there, but it wasn't as bad as the thumb cut. Anyway, you don't need to know any of that. Have a wonderful evening, day, rest of the day, morning, wherever you are in the world. It's lovely thank you for joining me. And I will post pictures of this little chap tomorrow. And yeah, with all the rest, with all his brothers and sisters once they're been finished. And I shall catch up with you later. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Bye. Bye.